Hello, welcome back to another episode of Passion for Action. This is the show spotlighting those who are using their passion for health, fitness, or running to make a positive impact. And today's guest definitely meets that description.
We have the pleasure of speaking with Leslie Gold, the founder of Strides in Recovery. Their vision: everyone who wants to overcome their addiction has the opportunity to experience the healing power of exercise.
So let's head on over and chat with the big-hearted Leslie Gold. All right, Leslie Gold, the founder of Strides in Recovery. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for sitting down with us. So we heard a lot about you because we met you through the LA running community. We're so inspired by all the great things you're doing to help people that are addicts become runners. And we had to sit down with you and talk to you. So thank you for hanging out with us for a second.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Actually, going to be more than a second, probably for a few minutes.
Yeah, that counts.
So let's get right on into it. You want to start it off, darling?
Sure thing. So yeah, we definitely want to learn more about you and this amazing undertaking that you've got going on. So first question is, how long have you been running and what motivated you to start?
Well, I've been running since I was in high school, so I'm going to have to fess up. That was about 45 years ago. And what motivated me to run was my Uncle Bill. I looked around at most of the adults in my life and, they didn't look particularly healthy. They didn't have a lot of energy. And I thought, I don't want to grow up to be like that. I was the tomboy kid and I wanted to be an active adult. And my Uncle Bill was always full of energy and doing fun things. And he ran every day. So I thought, hey, why not go running with Uncle Bill? And on his morning runs, he'd swing by the house and pick me up. And that's how I got started. We'd go down to the high school and run at the track with everybody else that was out there at the crack of dawn.
Wow. And how far, do you remember how far you'd average go on most of your runs?
Oh, probably a couple miles. I wasn't a hardcore marathoner. That never even crossed my mind in those days.
Wow.
That is so fun. Oh my gosh.
And so what it kept on, so that's just the beginning of it. So tell us a little bit further after you got into that. So that led you to what?
Then I just realized that running had so many different benefits in each phase of my life, actually. So as a teenager, it gave me a community that I could fit into. I also wasn't exactly the happiest kid growing up, so it was a really good opportunity to work off stress and anger and just feel like I had a place where I did belong, because there were places where I felt like I wasn't welcome. So that was the first benefit. There was always that benefit of I want to grow up to be like Uncle Bill. And what's kind of cool is that most of the people who I looked around at the time and thought, I don't want to be like them, most of them are either dead or sick. And Uncle Bill is 87 and still going strong. So I look at him as my lifelong role model. And then as I got older, I realized, it was just a good way to have a little bit of quiet time for myself. And especially when I was a mother of young children, that was my half hour before everybody got up, when I could just go out, enjoy the peace and quiet of nature, have a little bit of time to think, and then come back prepared for my day. And then every time I had a kid and put on some weight, it was a good way to let's run off all those pregnancy pounds. And that's how I kept adding one more day, until I was up to about 5 or 6 days a week of running. Wow. And then when I got older and I had more time to run, then it became a challenge. What can I actually do? My neighbor challenged me to run a half marathon. And it was actually kind of a funny story, because we were both talking about doing a marathon and, oh yeah, I'll do it if you'll do it. Yeah, I might do it. And I remember as we were having that conversation thinking, you're so full of it. Like, anybody could think about running a half marathon. That's the easy part. Actually doing it is hard. And I had to take my kids to school. So I walked away from the conversation and was like, well, I'll tell you what, Bill, this is a different Bill. I'll do it if you'll do it. And I never gave that conversation a second thought until about 3 weeks later. I got home from my morning run, and there was the application to the Palos Verdes Half Marathon taped to my front door with a note that said, I signed up. Now you have to. We're going to carpool.
Yes.
So I did that half marathon, and that was pretty fun. And I kept doing some more. So then, of course, my other friends were like, oh, you should do a full marathon. And I wanted to do it, but I had a lot of the standard excuses as to why not. Like, I don't have time to train. My knees can't take it. I've been an athlete all my life. Why would I want to do this anyway? What do I have to prove? But there was this little part of me that was saying, you're just making up a bunch of excuses because deep down, you don't think you could actually do it. And the way you could motivate me to do something is to tell me that I can't do it. So I started to increase my runs. And then I started thinking, well, all right, so in theory, I could do it, but why would I want to? And that was when I decided, all right, I've got to go run for a cause. And I didn't know what that cause was going to be. And one day I was flipping through the paper and I saw this ad, and it said, Run to Save a Soul, the only Jewish themed charity team for the Los Angeles Marathon. And I thought, well, hey, I'm Jewish. I'll go run for a Jewish charity. That sounds good. I walked in the first day, and it was a faith-based addiction treatment center. And that was my introduction to addiction. I trained that season with people on the team, most of whom were currently in the program or who had recently graduated. And, I learned a lot from them about addiction. And since I was already an experienced runner, I helped them. So at the end of the season, they said, oh, would you like to coach? I did. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I've been coaching that team ever since. It's 10 years now. It wasn't until I was 51 when I ran my first marathon with the team. And that was when I realized that, oh, like running could be a way to help other people. I'm embarrassed to say that never crossed my mind until then, but now that's my main reason for running. It's a great way to give back and lift others.
Nice.
I love that. And so that kind of segues into our next question. So what led you to create Strides in Recovery?
It was really the people on the Beit Teshuva marathon team. When I was coaching, people would tell me stories all the time during the season, and they fell into, I think of it as two categories. One was how they felt about themselves, and the other was about being part of a team. And in terms of themselves, what I would hear over and over was, I'm learning to believe in myself, or this is the first time I've believed in myself. And I know now that I'm much stronger than I thought I was. I learned I could do whatever I put my mind to. And then from the community aspect, I'd hear comments like, I realize I don't have to go through life alone anymore. And that sometimes we lift others when they can't love themselves, and others lift us when we can't love ourselves. Hearing comments like that so often made me think this needs to happen at more rehab programs. I think I'm going to go start a nonprofit and do this.
I love that.
So how did the name Strides, did you already have the name in mind, or did somebody refer it to you, or it just came to mind?
No, it just popped into my head one day. I had no idea what I was going to call it.
Very
I just
clever.
thought, I wanted to have something about recovery in it, and I wanted to have something. I didn't want to use the word running because sometimes running sounds intimidating to people. Like, what if I can only walk, or what if I'm not in great shape? So I wanted to use a word that would be more inclusive and welcoming. And, Strides is about moving forward at any pace. And it could be you're making strides with your exercise, or it can be making strides toward whatever goal that you want. So I thought it really represented what we are trying to offer people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the guy in your logo. That it's just like winning, moving forward, doing it.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's very, very clean and simple, and that's a great logo.
Powerful.
I love it. Love it. So let's
Can I make a plug for my graphic designer?
They did a great job.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about, let's talk about the people behind Strides in Recovery. So currently, how many people are you helping, and how has running helped them manifest their greatness?
Sure. So we are in 10 programs in LA County. We just started working with our first program in Orange County and hope to continue offering the program in Orange County and then grow beyond Orange County to more counties. And hopefully one day we'll be able to take it national. Right now, about 500 people go through our program a year.
Wow.
Wow.
And in terms of how it helps people manifest their greatness, I see it as every time you take a step forward, you get a better view into what else is out there. And every door that you open for yourself opens far more doors. I think of it as the starting point often with people when they land themselves in an addiction treatment program is shame, there's social isolation, there's a sense of hopelessness. And getting out there and running with a team starts to reverse all that. When people show up, they start to learn that they matter. And a lot of times I'll tell people, I'll say, how many of you think you could run a 5K or 10K or half marathon? And very few people will raise their hand, and I'll tell them, you know what, don't worry about it. You don't have to believe in yourself right now. I'm here. I'll do that for you. And whenever you're ready to believe in yourself, you're welcome to. But I'm here because I believe in you. And little by little, as people get stronger and go farther, then they do believe in themselves. And one of the things I hear often is, now that I've done this, where else can I go?
Your first half marathon. It was the best experience. I thought, I can't do this. And who says that I can't do this? It was just another door opening for me. I can do this. Why not?
There I go. So it becomes a metaphor for finding out what their potential is. And I like to tell people the only limits you have are the ones that you make up in your head. And I even catch them when they say, oh, I can't do that. It's like, well, we're going to change that language. I'm working on it and I'm getting closer to accomplishing that. And the fact that I showed up and I'm here and I'm willing to try is already a success. So you're standing here, you're successful. Like I said, soon they believe it too.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yes. And I can only imagine, being around each other, like you all have that fire. And sometimes when others, aren't burning as much as they can, you can be that fuel for them. You can help with it and you can't go wrong.
Yeah, the community comes together, and if one is down, the other one picks them up.
Absolutely.
So has anybody, this is a little side question, has anybody ever, like when you said, oh, I can't, has anybody done a half marathon, 10K, 5K? How many people say, what's a 10K? What's a 5K? Or do you need to educate them, or they don't know the distances?
Oh yeah. People don't. Like they'll say, oh, I'm doing my first 5K marathon. I'm like, huh? Yeah, so I have to educate them. Like a marathon is 26.2, like 5K is 3.1. That's we're going to start with that. So yeah, I mean, we do get them into the lingo, and then we actually take them to different events so that they get that sense that, hey, when I get out of treatment, there's this whole other community that I could be part of. And sometimes when we take them to events, I'll bring a couple different teams to the same event so they get to meet each other. And then a lot of our volunteers are in recovery as well. So they get to see that, oh, here's a path that I could finish this program. I could come back. I can volunteer. I can volunteer at other teams. And my sobriety is actually an advantage. And the fact that I have that past gives me the advantage and gives me the ability to help others. And I matter. I can make a huge difference.
And each group has its own running coach, right?
Right. We have coaches and we have volunteers that come out to help the coaches. And we encourage people who graduate from their recovery programs to come back and help and volunteer. We even had a few who came back, they volunteered. And what I tell them is when you have a year of sobriety, you're eligible to become a head coach. And I've had 2 guys become head coaches and the teams love them.
Well, I'm so happy for them. Nice. So can anyone join in on the running fun with your groups?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's not specific to just the people in treatment.
No, like we go to a treatment center and anybody who wants to run with the clients in the treatment center can come on as a Strides in Recovery volunteer. And then if you don't want to make that kind of commitment, but you still want to be involved, when we take our teams to events, you're welcome to show up at the event and be there with the team, and you could run with them or you could be on the sidelines and cheer them on. We want to create lots of different ways to support our team members and include anybody in the community who wants to get out there and support sobriety.
Can people find this info on your website or your social media? Or how can they get involved with that?
Sure. So our website is stridesinrecovery.org. That's like here, Strides in Recovery.
Nice.
And then we've got a Facebook group and a Facebook page, and we're on Instagram.
Wonderful.
Easy to get a hold of.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it back to you. Okay, Leslie. So please describe your most challenging running moment, or what did you do to overcome it, and what silver lining did you take away from it?
I would say my most challenging running moment is actually when I can't run. You know, as much as I try to stretch and strengthen and do all the things you're supposed to, I get injuries from time to time. And running is so much a part of my life now that when I can't run for a month or 2, it drives me insane. You know, I bike, I swim, but running is my thinking time. It's my mental health time. It's my peace and quiet, enjoy nature, start the day, get energized. So if I can't do that, something's definitely missing. But the silver lining to all of that is that when I do get back to being able to run, it reminds me that I need to be grateful, that I should never, ever take it for granted that, you know, I have a body that works well for me, and I have the freedom to go and run, and I have beautiful places to run because I live in Southern California. So I think being injured sets me up to remember to be grateful when I'm not injured.
Very true.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen very often.
Okay. I'm getting better at it.
All
Take
right.
care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you for hanging out with us, Leslie. And if anybody needs to get a hold of you, we're going to leave all the links in the description. So reach out to them, see how you can participate or be involved. So we'll see you soon, Leslie. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Oh, thank you.
Game on. Yes.
That's where you're supposed to cut in.
The founder of
Oh, wait.
You...
This is the take number 2.
Let's redo that.
Definitely fits the mold.
The mold.
And today's guest, that's your spot.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. You just finished that other part.
I don't care.
1.
Don't care.
So let's head on over and talk to the fantastic Leslie Gold.